It gives me great pleasure now to bring on board the chairman of LIC to talk about how things have transpired for LIC for the quarter gone by, the exposure to the Adani group of companies, and how exactly is the insurance sector positioned given that there are some rather major changes which have been announced in the budget. Mr. Kumar, great to have you on ET Now. Thank you for joining us. We need to address two set of viewers, your shareholders and your unit holders. Whom should we start with? So I'll start with shareholders. Now for the quarter gone by, you've seen a VNB growth of nearly 16.5%, which is quite impressive. Given that the current quarter, which is Q4, historically is always a strong quarter for life insurance companies and LIC, will this growth rate only improve?
If I just talk about the AP annualized premium equivalent numbers, the total premium was 37,545 crore for the 9 months ended 31st December, and out of which 62.38% was accounted by the individual business and 37.62% by the group. And the share of non-par products, this is something we've been talking about ever since the listing, has gone up steadily and now stands at 9.45%. So, in terms of profit, the profit after tax for the 9 months was 22,970 crore. Of course, this has increased due to transfer of amount of 19,941.6 crore net of tax pertaining to the accretions on the available solvency margin. Going forward, we are confident that we will be able to grow at the rate at which we have been growing in the Q4. Q4 generally is good for us for more reasons than one. And I think we will be able to demonstrate to the shareholders at large that we are a company with the good intentions of growing the business, increasing the penetration in the country.
If one looks at your VNB margins, they've gone up from 9% to about 15%. I'll set the context for our viewers. They were at 9% when LIC went public, they're at 15%. So the journey is encouraging, but these numbers are way below than what your peer set currently seems to be commanding. Do you think VNB margins have a long way to catch up before they peak out for LIC?
Yes, on VNB margin, rather I would say that we would like to grow our VNB, which is more important. So when you look at the products basket of the non-par, there are some which have better margins, some which don't have so good margins. But then customer preference is important. So as of now, we are going with selling all kinds of non-par products irrespective of the margins. But if you have the margin focus, obviously we will have to sell more of a term, more of ULIP and things like that. But having said that, I think our VNB margins, which were 9, moved up to 14.6, and probably they will be writing to the finance ministry in this regard.
So assuming that there are no changes made and it is status quo, what will change for LIC's profitability, and how many of your policyholders currently will not enjoy tax benefits starting from FY24?
There won't be any immediate impact because those who are already paying a 5 lakh premium and above are roughly about 0.12% of the total number of policyholders, number one. And number two, the fact is that we have to really wait for the circular from the ministry on how the taxation will actually be worked out. In terms of aggregate, if you are going to look at policies taken in different insurance companies, and if the total aggregate is more than 5, then which part of which policy will get taxed? So there are many questions around it which need to be answered. Probably we'll have to wait for some clarity on that.
Let me bring your attention to LIC's total exposure to Adani group of companies. Could you clarify for our viewers that what is the total exposure to Adani group of companies both in debt and equity?
So on the book value, total debt and equity exposure on the book value is less than 1% of the AUM. I think we have already stated this earlier also.
Can you be specific, sir, here? It is less than 1% of AUM, but what is debt and what is equity?
On the book value of total 33,000 crores and odd, the debt is around 6,000 crores.
Is LIC in your debt book still in standard account?
Yeah, they are standard assets. The debt part is standard.
Now, I do understand that the total investment in Adani group of companies is still above the book value and you've not lost any principal amount. But there is a loss in the total investment kitty of LIC. So, what will change for policyholders?
Policyholders will not be impacted at all. There's no way they will be impacted because we are going to do the evaluation on all the policies, old policies, before we come out with a decision to declare bonus at the end of the year. So I don't see any impact for policyholders. I would like to reassure them through your channel that they have nothing to worry about, neither the policyholders nor the shareholders.
Now, LIC has always championed itself in being a contra buyer. You bought into Adani stocks when nobody was buying it. Now, everybody is selling Adani group of stocks and there is a meltdown in some of those stocks. Since your exposure limits in LIC have not, and in Adani group have not been hit, is LIC looking at increasing their exposure?
So we have, you see, stocks we generally hold for long term. You're right. We are contrarian, no doubt, but we generally hold for the long term. Having said that, in this particular case, whether we need to change that outlook or whether we need to take a different decision, we will have to wait and see. We have called the management of Adani Group for a discussion sometime in a week or 10 days, and after that we will take a call. But we have not taken any decision on that as of now.
So, Mr. Kumar, when you say you're looking at a detailed discussion with the top management of Adani, when are you looking at initiating that discussion? What are the points you would like to address, and what are the points on which you would seek clarity to give you a comfort?
The only thing that we need to understand from them is the key business metrics. We would like to know from them going forward how are the companies going to do in terms of the performance, and then whatever reports have come in, and then to what extent they are true, and how are they trying to ensure that these are taken care of, or whether they have any explanation for what's really happening, is what we want to know.
When is this meeting scheduled? Can you be specific on that? And post this meeting, would LIC be coming out with any kind of a clarification?
I hope it does, because we have just reached out to them. The date of the meeting has not been decided. We're just waiting.
Now let's address the question on behalf of shareholders. While you've not lost the principal amount, but there is a mark-to-mark loss that will change the book value of your investment book. So what changes for the LIC shareholders?
Absolutely, absolutely right.
When I spoke to you last, Mr. Kumar, you did say that for FY22, LIC had booked sizable profits in the equity market as equity markets were buoyant. What was that number?
No, our equity market strategy does not change because of this one-off. We continue to be, contrarian, and we have been booking profits wherever we see an opportunity. So even though I don't have that data, I cannot share it with you right now. I can tell you that we have been booking profits as we always do, and investing as we always do.
So for FY24, what should policyholders expect in terms of a payout? Will it be as strong as what it has been in the last couple of years?
Policyholders, bonus, unless the valuation is done, and the bonuses are different from product to product. We have some very old products where we still pay bonuses, regularly paying bonuses. And therefore, unless we arrive at the embedded value, which we'll do at the end of the year, and we do the entire valuation of all the products, it's very difficult to say. But looking at the growth trajectory, looking at the persistency, which has been very good, looking at the rate of investment returns that we have been getting in the last 2-3 years, I think we will be able to reasonably be sure about declaring bonus on the policies.
If LIC gets a composite license, which is that they can diversify again in other areas apart from life insurance, how will that change life for LIC and for the entire sector per se?
Well, we had composite license many decades ago. We gave it up in 1972. So this is something that is exciting. Actually, it is something that we can work on, and once we get the contours of the details of how it is going to work out, we will take a call on that as well.
The macro has been challenging for the insurance sector, first because of COVID, and then the reinsurance cost, it went higher. Are things looking better there? Have things settled?
Yeah, I agree with you. The certain things have got normalized. We have really come out of COVID. The interest rates are going up, which is also good for industry. We can always give out better investment prospects are good, and insurance market is also looking up. There is a lot of scope for growth. I see a lot of growth happening in this last quarter for all the entire insurance sector, and particularly for LIC as well. I think it should be a good year all round.
And finally, how do you see the premium rates moving? A lot of your peer set has expressed that the cost of servicing is increasing as the underlying premiums are increasing. Do you see that in the near term, the entire premium, the premium per se could start increasing?
No, premiums are decided on the risk. What there's a risk premium, and there's a savings portion of the premium. So even if you had to change it, I would say that risk premiums, looking at the experience of death claims and other things, that has not gone up. That is the reason it has not gone up. It's quite within the reasonable limits. And the savings portion, again, it's question of how do you want to price the product and what kind of returns you want to generate on it. What is the environment for investment? All things put together, the actuary will take a call while deciding the product. But I don't see any premiums going up, suddenly for now.
Mr. Kumar, really appreciate your time. So glad you could join us.